On behalf of the Professional Baseball Strength and Conditioning Coaches Society, I'd like to welcome you to the PBSCCS Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Messina. All right, everybody, I'm here with Jason Meredith of the Milwaukee Brewers organization. Jason, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate your time. Tell the listeners about yourself, if you would, please.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. So this will be just finished my second year with the Brewers as their assistant strength coach in the major leagues. Before that, I spent 7 years in the Phillies organization. One with the Yankees. Started in 2009 as an intern with the Phillies there in their AA affiliate. Left there after that internship, got a full-time position with the Yankees in AA for 1 year, and then returned to the Phillies for 3 years in AAA as their affiliate strength coach there, and then 3 years as their minor league coordinator until I got the job with the Brewers in 2017.
First and foremost, congrats on a good season this year. It was awesome to watch you guys go through the playoffs and get real close there at the end, and so it was cool to see you guys. I was rooting for you. I know a couple people out here in Phoenix from the Brewers organization. We got together, watched the games, and we were rooting for you guys. So
one game away. It's amazing. Those 162 games can come down to one game. So
it's crazy how that works. So you've been around for a while in baseball, and I want to get right into it. I want to hear your best professional baseball story, whether that's a story of overcoming odds or something that got lost in translation that you look back on and laugh at, or just whatever is your most memorable story in professional baseball.
Yeah, for sure. So typically the story that I remember the most is kind of one of those things where I looked around and I was like the odd man out, kind of. This would be 2012. So I was AAA affiliate. We were in big league spring training. Come in after stretch, come in the weight room, kind of get some stuff done. And Ryan Sandberg, who was my manager in AAA, comes in, looking for somebody in a hurry. And he goes, "Jason, you free? You got a minute?" I said, "Yeah, sure, whatever you need." He goes, "Follow me." So he takes me outside. We go to our half field. He goes, "I need you to flip me some balls for a little bit." I said, "Okay, no problem." So I walk out there, and Jim Tomey's at first base taking ground balls that Sandberg's hitting them. And I'm looking around. I'm just like, there's two Hall of Famers here, and I'm not one of them. So it was one of those things, just odd. You look around, and it's, you're blessed and lucky to be there. And at the same time, I didn't feel like I belonged. It's like, can you find somebody else? Like, I'm just going to screw something up.
Yeah, something as simple as flipping balls when you're in that kind of presence is probably a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah, and Sandberg had me stand. I was probably 5 feet from him, and he's like, "Flip him hard, flip him right outside, just flip him on the outer half." I'm like, "All right, just like don't hit me because I'm 5 feet away from him." He goes, "I got it, don't worry." And he was rifling balls down the line. So
yeah, you're just hoping your flips are good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So what do you believe in within strength and conditioning that others think you are crazy for believing? I'm sure you've seen a lot as both a coordinator and in the big leagues and have experienced a ton of things. So is there anything that you believe in that would be considered crazy by others?
I think as a whole, kind of the coaches, the industry is kind of getting around a little bit to this. It's kind of becoming more in the limelight as far as with the sports science and stuff around, but the players, it's hard for them to grasp is sometimes strong enough is strong enough, and anything extra is just extra. So guys, always want to find, lift more weight, whatever it may be. They feel like, stronger is always going to be better. And I think in the end, there's definitely a line of diminishing returns where once you're strong enough, you're strong enough. You don't need to worry about lifting more weight. You can lift the weight you have. You can worry about, getting faster, lifting it faster, that sort of stuff. But I definitely believe, strong enough is strong enough.
Yeah, the difference between a 500-pound squat and a 525-pound squat is probably not overly significant for a baseball player. It might be for us as meatheads in the weight room.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, in the sport, we're you're throwing a 6-ounce baseball on a 2-pound bat, like it's 500 or 525 isn't going to make you a Hall of Famer versus just a starter. So it's definitely not something that's really that important in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, your energy and your resources can probably be used somewhere else that might have a little bit more carryover once you're that strong.
For sure.
So what in your mind makes a strength and conditioning coach successful? Maybe first in general and then more specifically in professional baseball.
In general, obviously you have to have a good understanding of the science, what you're doing in the weight room, exercise technique, programming, periodization, etc. But I think for both fronts, just in general and especially in professional sports, is having good interpersonal skills. The cliche line is players won't care, they don't care how much you know, they know how much you care. And if you're willing and able to talk to guys and get them motivated to kind of follow you and listen to you and trust you, you can get them to do pretty much anything you want, which is kind of where we all want to be. So another cliche is a mediocre program done consistently is better than a perfect program done inconsistently. So again, getting guys to trust you and understanding what you're doing, kind of whether you're doing the top line things or not, can almost kind of take a back seat a little bit to consistency.
Yeah, especially with how much time we spend with these guys in season. You're with them every single day.
Yeah.
And if you can just get them doing something consistently, that's almost better than, hey, I have this top-notch program, but you've
Sure.
only followed it every other time.
Yeah. And you're, in our world, we're kind of battling, the gurus and stuff they see during the off season. So your message may be different than what they're used to hearing. So you kind of have to be able to swallow your ego a little bit and kind of work with them a little bit. This may not be what I really want you to do, but I'm willing to accept this in the long term. It's going to be better than nothing.
Yeah, that's one of the hard things is like they spend the off season with somebody else, and whether you agree or not, like they put a lot of trust into those people that they're training with. That's their off season. That's their opportunity to make progress. And so if you're just going to bash that guy and say, no, this isn't right, and you're going to start a little a controversy for yourself instead of, okay, hey, this might not be what I want you to do, but I'll work with you since you trust this guy. And they'll probably start trusting you and let you put your own 2 cents in along the way.
Definitely, for sure. You gotta be careful, and you gotta be able to play the long game a little bit versus the one day, 2 day battles you have here during the season.
Yeah, 100%. Easier said than done sometimes.
For sure. Yeah.
So, what advice do you have for others in the field? Maybe young strength coaches looking to get into professional baseball, or even guys that have been around a while who just want to keep the sword sharp.
Again, for young coaches wanting to get into the career, strength conditioning, it's just get reps. It's kind of the same thing you tell the athletes: get reps. Just coach where you can coach. I know a lot of guys have goals as far as getting to the major leagues, whether it's in baseball or getting the top, the NFL or NBA. And there's not really a shortcut. There's no shortcuts to get there. I think a lot of it is if you have to start at a high school, coaching high school kids, or starting at a little facility somewhere in your hometown, coaching high school kids in the off season, in the winter, do it. You just got to get your style down. Find out what motivates you, how you can motivate kids. Just get reps and just coach whoever you can coach.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer that every coach should have to work with young kids. Like, huge believer in it, because you will find out about yourself a ton, your coaching style, your tolerance, your patience, and how good you are at getting your message across to people. Because kids will come in, you'll tell them something, and then the next day it's out the window. And so I'm a big believer in that.
For sure. It's good. It's good for learning your cues, exercise cues, as far as understanding how to use as few words as possible and get them to understand, what you want them to do and whatever movement you're having them do. So it's definitely helpful.
Yeah, if you give a kid 25 cues on how to back squat, he's just going to look at you sideways and, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
So where do you go for continuing ed? What kind of books are you reading? Are you attending any seminars? Are you listening to podcasts? What are you doing for continuing ed?
I'm a big reader, big podcast guy. A lot of what I read and listen to probably isn't continuing education credit worthy, I guess. But as far as books and stuff that I read, a lot of it lately has been kind of skewed toward the leadership type of aspect of things. A few years ago, my first year as a minor league coordinator with the Phillies, our farm director there challenged me to become a better leader. It's my first year as kind of having a leadership role, so I just took it and ran with it. So I've read probably all the standard leadership books that have come out lately. I know we talked last a little bit about Jocko Willink's book, The Extreme Ownership. To me, that's probably one of my favorites. It's one I recommend to a lot of guys as they come up. It's very militaristic, obviously, former Navy SEAL. But if you take soldier and replace athlete and commanding officer and replace it with coach, it's pretty much, word for word what you can do to be successful leading athletes and leading other coaches.
Yeah, when you recommended that to me, that was probably over a year ago now, or close to a year. I ordered it right away and read it, and since then I have further recommended it to other people, and it's come up on the podcast plenty of times. So I've said it before, but if the listeners haven't read it, it's time to read it. It's
and it's some other books I've read lately that I've kind of gotten a lot out of. Conscious Coaching by Brett Bartholomew. I know he's coming up with a lot of new stuff lately. Book called Mindset by Carol Dweck, just as far as difference between a closed and open mindset, and how to teach that to other players, having the open mindset of, your traits aren't fixed. You can pretty much accomplish whatever you want to accomplish just by practice. And then the Simon Sinek books, Start With Why, Leaders Eat Last. Another couple military books, Make Your Bed by Admiral William McRaven. I know he gave a good speech that kind of went viral a few years ago at Texas, I believe it was University of Texas graduation, as far as the importance of making your bed every morning, getting something accomplished first thing, you kind of set your plate for the day. And then some other basic ones, Chasing Excellence, Ben Bergeron, and then Chop Wood, Carry Water by Joshua Metcalf. That's just probably all this past year, the last 2 years. So on flights, I tend to read a lot. So
yeah, I have really long bus rides, so that's when I get my reading done. And I've read quite a few of those: the Chasing Excellence, Chop Wood, Carry Water. Anything by Simon Sinek has been really good in my mind, and the Mindset book is good too. And then Brett Bartholomew's is unbelievable for helping you relate to some athletes that just you can't get through to. And he's like, "Oh, try this," and you try, and you're like, "Oh, that actually really works." So that's a good one too.
Yeah, I'm actually one of his. He just came out with a new at-home online CEU course, The Art of Coaching. I just started that just this past week, so I'm one video in. I haven't really started yet, but it's definitely an off-season project.
Yeah, you'll have to keep me in the loop because I saw that as well, and I'm definitely intrigued by it. He's got a new podcast out too. Speaking of podcasts, I don't know if you've listened or not.
Not yet. It's on I'm subscribed. I haven't listened to it yet. I think it's 2 or 3 episodes in, but it's on my to listen to list for sure.
Yeah, I'm in the same spot you are. Yeah. So, speaking of podcasts, any that you recommend?
I got one I've listened to for the last few years. It's a little bit meatheadish. It's not going to blow you away with a lot of the science and the newfound stuff coming out. But Power Athlete Radio. Their kind of slogan is they cut through the bullshit through the strength and conditioning. They keep it very simple. Which is, I like that approach as far as, especially with young kids coming up minor leagues, you have all this stuff out there, and a lot of times it's, for those guys, first time in the weight room, just keep it simple. Again, Ben Bergeron has one as well, Chasing Excellence, that's good for young coaches as well. Again, The Art of Coaching by Bartholomew. There's Body of Knowledge by, I believe it's Andy Galpin. He has a lot of the science, that kind of aspect of training and fitness. And then Chalk Talk with Ron McHugh, just as far as coaching, getting to know coaching, what it takes, the ins and outs, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the Power Athlete one. I just started listening to it, and it's so different than other podcasts because they can veer off topic, and then it's they hit you with some hard knowledge, and you're like, I don't know where that came from, but it's awesome. Yeah,
they have some really good guests on there. I know I've taken a lot of it from some of their episodes. I'll be listening to it in the car, and I'll wish, I almost need to stop and start taking notes on some of them. So it's pretty good. Again, you have to kind of weed through kind of the egos they have a little bit sometimes, but if you can filter through the meathead stuff, it's got some pretty good information.
Yeah, I was in the same boat, and I started listening to it when I make breakfast in the morning so that I actually have a notepad to write stuff down, because I'm driving in the car, and I'm like, I can't stop to write this down, but I don't want to forget it either.
Yeah, I'm driving in Phoenix here in the morning, going to the complex. I'm driving 45 minutes in the morning and about an hour and a half coming home. So I got 2 hours a day of solid podcast time.
Yeah, and that's tons of good time. So what are your thoughts on doing a lightning round here real quick before I let you go?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, first question. Who is your biggest influence in the field of strength and conditioning?
Biggest one for me, I have two here written down. Biggest one would be Paul Fournier. He's now the head strength and conditioning coach with the Phillies. He was my coordinator for 2 of my 3 years there when I was in AAA with them, and then when I became the coordinator, he was the head guy there. He just kind of helped definitely influence and kind of mold me and my leadership style, stuff like that, of what I worry about in the weight room from the coaches. Then also Joe Jordan. He was the minor league farm director there at the Phillies. He's the one that actually challenged me as far as becoming a better leader, and kind of started getting me headed that direction.
I actually just interviewed Paul this morning
for
the podcast. Yeah.
How many F-bombs did he drop? Did you have to edit the length out?
I don't think there was any. I think he behaved. I think he was good. But, that's funny that I had him this morning.
It was all right.
So, one piece of equipment to train with, what would it be?
For me, again, I'm a little bit old school, a little bit of a meathead. Just a barbell and bumper plates is pretty much all I would need, I would think.
I had you pegged at that just because the last conversation we had, you said I'm an off-season strength coach.
Yeah, just deadlift and squats, and I'll do some bench press. And for me personally, I'm pretty solid.
Yeah, I hear you. Biggest accomplishment professionally and or personally?
Professionally, we kind of hit on it here at the beginning. Just being lucky enough to be part of a team, that not only won their division this year, but made a good push through the playoffs, and we were one game away from the World Series. That was quite a ride, a lot of fun, long season, but in the end, looking back, it went fast. It was, the season ended very quickly, I guess, pretty much. You're on the ride, get the momentum, and then all of a sudden, I guess I'm heading home in a couple of days. So it was definitely something to be proud of. Personally, I don't know how I did it, but being able to find someone insane enough to live this life with me, being gone 6-7 months out of the year, it's not easy for a family. Again, so, my wife here, she's been great, understanding of, my goals and what I want to accomplish as far as my life. And then not only staying with me through the 10 years I've been doing this, but also, agreeing to raise 2 kids in this lifestyle. So it's not easy, definitely not for everybody. But that's definitely something I've been lucky to have.
Yeah, it goes a long way having that support and knowing that your wife has your back no matter what happens. And this is a crazy life, man. So it's good to have somebody to enjoy the ride with. Yeah,
and it has its perks, but at the same time, it's definitely sometimes it's questioning as far as if it's worth going through all this stuff.
Oh, 100%. And I'm sure the wives are also questioning what you're doing.
Sure, for sure.
Last one. Any career other than strength and conditioning, what would you choose?
Well, I went to school originally to be an athletic trainer. So, that was kind of my career path was headed until I voluntarily left, I guess. A job at USF. They had an outreach program at a high school. It was state funded. So back in 2008, when the economy kind of took that big turn, their funding kind of started getting cut. So I found the internship with the weight room there with the Phillies and left and haven't looked back. So that's probably where I'd be at right now, on some training table somewhere, taping ankles or, treating people like that. So that's kind of stayed in the path, but took a little different direction.
Yeah, so you'd still be in the dugout. You'd just be wearing a different pair of pants.
For sure.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you spending a little time with me. If the listeners want to get in touch with you, where can we get more? Are you on social media, or is there a better place?
Yeah, social media probably be the best. I think I'm on all of them. I don't really know. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. It's all JT Meredith 83.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time and appreciate catching up with you, and we'll be talking soon.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, Chris.
All right, everybody. That concludes this episode with Jason. I hope you enjoyed this one. He shared a lot of good information and a lot of good advice, especially in the continuing education portion of the podcast. 3 things that I took from Jason: know when strong enough is strong enough, work to build consistency with players, and coach wherever you can coach. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll talk to you again on the next one.